Get the K right to the sight sex. Leave the fire and the roof style stuff. I'm on the grind like we're chasing the stars. From Millmore to Do Valley, we've come so far. Talk about legends, yeah, we know the score. Ronnie and Bobby, we remember you more. From the highs of the Wembley fight to losing our trousers, still we ignite. Red and white with the pride, we're never gonna bow. Fighting like middlemen, hear the roar now. We're middlemen, we stand up tall. Through ups and downs, we give it all. From Millmore to Do Valley.
Good evening and welcome to Terrace Talk. I'm King Bush, your host. Tonight we have a special guest, Paul from Orient Outlook Podcast. How are you doing, Paul?
Yeah, it was better, as I said to you just before we come on air. A bit better before the game, but a little bit worse for it after now. Thanks for having us on. Appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. And just so, obviously, viewers listening, where can people find your podcast? Because you obviously do good things with Orient. Where can people find you, really?
Yeah, we're on all podcast platforms. We're on Alexas and all those kinds of devices. We're on the Fan Hub app. We're also on YouTube. We're not visual. It's just purely the audio. Spotify, TuneIn, iTunes, all those kind of places. We're all over social media. We're on Blue Sky. Just search Orient Outlook Podcast. Same for Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. That's our main platform for engagement, to be fair. But also we're on Facebook and Instagram as well. So we're literally everywhere that you probably would imagine that we are. We don't do TikTok. We're a bit too old for that, to be honest with you. That's a younger person's thing.
No,
so
I'm a bit old for TikTok, but I'm blowing up on there. I'm massive on TikTok. But yeah, we really do appreciate you coming on, mate. Obviously, I know it's difficult after a loss, but you are a good sport coming on. We've got Turbo Tom with us. Honestly, guys, he's not got his missus's bra on or anything tonight. How you doing?
I'm wearing it. I'm wearing the bra. I am wearing the bra. Really good. Paul, top lad for coming on after a defeat, mate, and I look forward to picking your brains about your club.
No problem.
Fresh from recording with me for Meet the Miller, we've got Richard Shellswood with us. How you doing, Shelley, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Good. All good. Thanks for having me, mate. Yeah.
Good man. We've got the legend that is John. How you doing, John?
Good evening. Thanks for having us. Welcome. Was it Paul? Sorry. Yeah. Welcome. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, and looking forward to having a good chat about Orient and the game.
Super. And then we've got the man himself, the main man, Bez. How you doing, Bez?
Yeah, good evening all. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Welcome. Glad you're on, Paul. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on Orient and Rotherham as well. So yeah, good evening, everyone.
We've got a lot of comments in. I'll just quickly go through them. So Mers, Rotherham must have a good defence. In a clean sheet. Obviously, that's a little dig at Tom, who called him out for calling it defence. I think this one's for me, the GOAT. There you go. I'll take that one. And they might be on about Jordan Hugel. I don't know. Turbo, give us a wave. Turbo, give us a wave in the comments. So people wanting to see Turbo. And Poppy says, good evening, everyone. So got a lot of people watching live. So appreciate watching us. And we're going to start off with Paul. So before the game, what were your expectations of Rotherham, and did it meet your expectations? I'm guessing not, but I'll let you speak.
Yeah, not a difficult one to answer, really, is it? I mean, we notoriously have not ever started a season particularly strongly. Last season was a real case in point where we didn't really get going until sort of mid to late November, and then you all know how that ended, where we ended up in the playoffs thanks to a real sort of good run of form through December, January and February. And then we sort of really picked up momentum, the loan players that we had, and everything just clicked not long after we battled back from beating Oldham, losing to Oldham in the FA Cup first round. Fast forward to this season, we've had a huge turnover of players. We've got 15 new players in the building. There's always going to be a difficult one to try and get everyone firing on all cylinders, but it does happen. It can happen. It just hasn't happened for us yet. That being said, we are further ahead than where we were this time last season. We were in the bottom four this time last season. Wondering what the hell's going on.
You got playoffs last season as well, didn't you?
Yeah, we got 7th.
Yeah, so
6th, sorry. 6th, yeah, we did 6th.
Obviously, I got a bit of stick the other week. So obviously, we have been playing really poor, but I still believe we can get in the playoffs because I believe this league is that poor. And it's interesting that you was down near the bottom and then sort of got up there. So it is possible.
Absolutely, it's not an insurmountable thing to be done at all. You just need to put a good run of fixtures, a good run of results together. You're right, anyone can beat anyone. You haven't got the distortion this season of a Birmingham spending 30 million quid on talent. You haven't got a Wrexham with their big budgets. You've got other clubs, but although they've got bigger budgets than probably both of us combined in some cases, it doesn't mean that they're spending it well. And I don't think anyone really. I mean, we lost 4-3 to Cardiff, but could have quite easily won that 5-4. So I don't necessarily think they're not exactly tearing the league apart. Luton have put all their money from parachute payments into their new stadium that they're going into in 2 years' time. So they're not coming here and doing a Birmingham or a Wrexham. They're still getting 30-40 million pound a year out of the Premier League. Anyone can beat anyone. You just put a good run of form together and you'll be, I mean, you've jumped out of 22nd place to 16th, 17th?
Yeah.
So if the league ended today, you'd be safe. It wouldn't be a problem. But yeah, in terms of us and starting, we don't start strong. We've had a real indifference to our start to the season. We beat Doncaster 4-0 last week, so we're thinking, right.
Yeah, you get brownie points on here for that.
You're welcome. You're all very welcome. All of you are very welcome for that. But fundamentally, we thought, look, we've got this squad of players who are all doing, suddenly this is it. This is the turning point. This is the pivot now where we start to do that. And then we're going to you guys who haven't started the season well, bigger budget than us, bigger club than us, arguably. And we thought that we'd genuinely probably come away with some sort of a win. It might not have been pretty, but we thought we'd take all 3 points. And then it turned out not to be the case. So there we are.
Paul, am I right in thinking that, last year, the start of that run, was it the 1-0 win against Rotherham? I'm pretty sure it was it? So
no.
Is that all right? Okay.
No, it was the Oldham in the FA Cup. We were 1-0 down and then we equalised in the 92nd minute and then scored the winner in the 99th minute.
Right. And that
Bev,
that was
Sorry, Bev, just remember, obviously, I'll give you the opportunity to ask him questions when we all go around the room. So just going to go through some things. So must be a tough bear being beaten off Rotherham, though.
But like you just said, anyone can beat anyone. Who would have thought that Burton would have strung 2 or 3 games of decent results together? They were definitely a coupon buster for me at one point because I look at them and think actually they're bottom, low budget, small club, but they're punching above.
Yeah, Mansfield won at Luton as well.
But yeah, absolutely, everyone can beat everyone in this league. So no, it doesn't surprise me. We seem to have this moniker in our club that you need 3 points, desperate for a win. Oh, just invite Orient to town; they'll give you 3 points. It's just it's such a thing. But I mean, Richie Wellens tried to change that mindset amongst the supporter base. Unfortunately, it's not working at the moment. But ask me in 3 months' time, and we'll see where we are.
Yeah. Chris Nichols for the algorithm, watching from Oz. Brilliant. That's fantastic, Chris. Welcome to watching the show. Thank you for watching. And I'm pretty sure it's a bit warmer in Oz at the minute than it is in Yorkshire. So on to the next question. Was you surprised how organised Rotherham were to say we were sort of third bottom?
Yeah, absolutely. What really impressed me was your press. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting us to come and impose our press on you rather than the other way around. So I was unpleasantly surprised by that, unfortunately. Richie likes to play a high press from the front. We've got 2 real workhorses in Connolly and Ballard up top that start the press off. And then we've got El Mazzuni and Backinson that back them up for a midfield. But yeah, I was genuinely impressed. And you weren't giving us much time on the ball. We were backwards and sideways passing. There wasn't much movement up front. And then it would go long. We'd turn over possession. And it's just boring football. It's just, we've seen that a lot too safe. And Richie, in his post-match, everyone's playing it too safe. No one's taking the ball by the horns and really dragging the team up the pitch and really sort of impressing our game on them. possession stats are wonderful if you're playing possession-based football in the opposition's half. Backwards and sideways passing doesn't count. The only stat that really matters is the result at the end of the game. Don't care if you've had 1,000 shots at goal and had 99.9% possession. If you then go and lose that game 1-0, what's the point? Yeah. And for us, and the players just don't seem to kind of like, oh, I'm going to pass it to him because then he's got to make the decision. But then that decision gets bounced back. It's ridiculous.
I mean, I was really impressed with Richie Wellens' after match. He was very honest, wasn't he? He called the players out.
Probably a bit too honest.
He sleepwalked into a 1-0 defeat. He didn't sort of come alive until the last sort of 10, 15 minutes, and it was too late.
Absolutely.
I mean, he nearly nicked a goal at the end. I don't know how Cam Dawson saved that. I think it was straight at him, but yeah.
He's right though. Whether he's right to hang the players out like that is a different story. But he said what everyone else thinks. Richie, one of the things about Richie is he's honest and he'll tell you exactly how it is. There's no point in going, oh well, we were the much better team. We didn't deserve to lose that, because everyone would know that's nonsense.
Yeah, this is a good question from Kelly Forbobs, to be fair, Paul, for you. So he says that was interesting comment from Wellens saying his back three couldn't play.
Yeah, that's the backwards and sideways passing that I'm talking about. Yeah. Considering you've got Jack Simpson, ex-Cardiff City, Omar Beckles, who's been with us for about 3 or 4 years now, maybe even more, and Dan Happy, who's come through our academy, has been with us for over 10 years. These are ball-playing centre-backs. These aren't your archetypal, old-school English.
But he basically said they're not good enough to do it.
But
in his comments, I mean, that usually goes one or two ways. He'll get a response next week, or he'll lose the dressing room. I mean, it was pretty. I liked the interview, to be fair, because he was brutally honest.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
He kind of saw exactly what I saw from you guys, because I thought you was very poor, and I thought
I agree.
I were expecting a much more difficult game from you.
Agreed.
And I think, obviously, when we started to sit back, that's when you started to get on top. But it was the last sort of 10, 15 minutes, and we were all a bit rushed as well. Then they were trying to pump balls into the box, and it could have gone anyway. It could have worked, but I think if you'd have played a bit more controlled from the start, it would have been a much better game for you.
More movement. And it's no surprise that last 15 minutes was when we made all of our substitutions.
Yeah.
No surprise at all.
And who stood out for you, in your opinion, for Orient? Who were your standout player, and who let you down?
Well, most of them let us down, I think. I don't think the substitutes did well. We had a chance with Sonny Perkins, who skied it over the bar from 10, 12 yards out. The ball. I don't think he was expecting the ball to come to him. It's so difficult when you've lost and not played well to kind of see the wood for the trees. I thought one of our substitutes, Tom James, came on and did quite well. I thought Idris El Mazouni was looking to get sent off all game. He was being horrible and dirty. I think Sean Clare got involved with Huggill a bit too much. And Huggill was trying to wind him up. He should have just walked away and just left it, but he kind of got drawn into those bleep housery tactics, and that we're better than that, and we don't get involved in that. And that's fine if that's what he wants to do, Huggill. Then all power to him. If that's what helps win you a game, and that's what you need to get you those 3 points, cool, that's fine. But we don't have to come down to that level. But yeah, we just weren't. Backinson, probably an experienced centre midfielder that we've been after apparently for a couple of years. It's just almost like he's not even there. I hate to dig an individual player out, because as a collective it just wasn't good enough. But we've got some experienced players in our squad now that just don't seem to be hitting that mark that we need them to be hitting. You'd expect them to hit the ground running, and frankly, boys, they just haven't yet, which is why we're struggling to get any form of consistency going.
Yeah. And in the Rotherham team, did anybody impress you from the Rotherham team that you thought you won't mind in the Leyton Orient side?
To be honest with you, no, not really. Your keeper, I thought, had quite a good game, although there wasn't that much for them to do when he was needed. He was in the right place at the right time. But I think largely based on that, I don't think any other club fan that was watching that game would want any of our players in their team. either, to be perfectly honest with you.
And what did you make of the referee's performance? Did you think he were fair? I thought he was a bit card happy, to be honest. I don't think it were an overly dirty game. He were kind of dishing out the cards, but he had no real major decisions to make.
I'd say, yeah, exactly. Quite middle of the road performance from the referee. I mean, the less you can talk about a referee, the better the game they've had. And we've seen some that want to be the centerpiece, the center of attention in a game, but this one seemed to be all right. Yeah.
And before I sort of go around the room so they can ask you questions, where do you think Leyton Orient are going to finish this season? Where do you think Rotherham? You would expect Rotherham to be sort of finishing?
God knows, based on the performance over the weekend. I mean, if we do what we did last season and hit a rich vein of form through the back end of November, December, and January, with the quality of player that we've allegedly got in our squad, you'd look at playoffs. I would expect you to probably be top 12, top half of the table. But again, where did you end up last season? About 15th, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were poor last season, and it sort of started off. But we've had a big overturn of players, and we have had a lot of players injured. So Sam Nombe, who scored the goal, he's been injured for most of it. We still haven't got Sean Raggett back. He's probably one of our main centre backs. We've had Denzel Hall, who's probably one of our best attacking players. He got ill on the day of the game, didn't end up playing. Josh Benson, who's been quality for us, he went off at half time because he wasn't well. Jordan Hugel was only playing half fix. He was being, there was a sickness bug in the camp as well.
Okay.
So we was kind of up against it, and we have had most players injured every week. I mean, Chris says here, Chris Nichols, when we get our players back, we will fly up the league. Like I said, we have had a lot of players out. Poppy Floral, honestly, is the best though. Would rather have a manager that brings truth and facts over one that covers things up and lies to the fans. Fair play to Paul. Nice to hear a different fan who is honest over the one who is deluded. It's nice to hear brutal honest there. Kelly Forbogs, the young lad, number 21, who came on in midfield for you, looked decent.
Morehouse. Jack Morehouse, yeah. He did look, actually, he's one of our probably brighter prospects. He's on loan to us from Manchester United, from their academy. So, yeah, one of the brighter prospects. He'd just come back from international duty. He'd just come back from international duty. So, yeah, he's a good ball-carrying midfielder. So, it's good that we've got someone of his nature in our squad. Just a bit of variation there. But, yeah.
Super. So I'll go around the room and I'll get my panel to sort of ask you their questions, what they want to ask you before we let you shoot off. Turbo Tom, what would you like to ask Paul?
First and foremost, Paul, thanks ever so much for coming on after a loss, mate. You speak incredibly well, mate. So
appreciate that.
Good on you. I'm not going to ask about the game. I'm going to ask about your football club, buddy. So what I want to ask is, when the Hearns were in charge of Leyton Orient, obviously Eddie and Barry Hearn have this massive matchroom thing with the snooker and the darts, and that's going up levels and levels and levels. Are you not disappointed as an Orient fan that they didn't take you with them, if that makes sense?
I think we'll always be indebted to, regardless of what you think of Barry Hearn as a personality, as a sports promoter, as a person or an individual, whatever your thoughts are on that, he saved Leyton Orient from extinction and will always be great. I personally will always have that gratitude and fondness for him for doing what he did, because the previous chairman, he made his money from coffee plantations in Rwanda, and then they broke out into civil war, and his millions went into the ground literally overnight. Barry stepped in and bought the club for a £5 because the club had hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of debt. Barry came in, steadied the ship, ran it like a business. We lost £500,000 a year every year, pretty much without foul, unless we had a decent cup run, which wasn't very often. We were one of the lower budget clubs in the league. The football was not pretty. The players weren't great, but we survived as a league football club. The only slight that you'd have against the Herns is the fact they sold it to a lunatic who nearly killed us again. But that being said, it would have been nice as a send-off to Barry's last game was when we were in the playoff final against you guys, where Revs has scored that wonder goal, and he'd never score a goal like that again in his career if he tried a million times. But credit to him, he scored that goal, and we let a 2-0 lead slip. So it is what it is. But that would have been the perfect thank you, good night, God bless, goodbye, all the best to you, thanks for everything, kind of goodbye for them. So for me, I'm a Hern fan based on what they did for us, what they've done for various other sporting occasions. I go to the darts every year. It's a brilliant spectacle in Ali Pally in London. If you ever get a chance to come down and go to it, it is great. It is good fun. And yeah, yes, it would have been nice to still be part of that and sort of have that elevated. But I think who we've got owning us now just is happy.
Nigel Travis, isn't it? Nigel Travis, is he the chairman?
No, so he's the chairman, but he sold to a guy called David Gandler. And David is in the online broadcasting of sports broadcasting, Fubo TV, Fubo TV. So he's recently sold a significant stake to David. David is an American guy who is looking to bring, I believe, or own an NFL franchise here in Europe. I think that's what they're looking. So we're going to be part of that suite of football, that group of football or sports, basically. So there's some exciting things going on at Orient.
And my last question, Paul, if I can get one more. Were you at that Wembley final?
Sadly, yes.
Did you think it was done at 2-0?
No. In fact,
I was as well. I was there as well. And it was probably, apart from my child being born, one of the best days of my life. And
I can imagine.
You know what? I spoke to Orient fans afterwards, and I said, "Look, at least you haven't got far to travel home." So
every cloud.
Look, I felt your pain, mate. I did feel your pain, but hey, thanks for answering my questions, Paul. Top lad.
Pleasure, Tom. Anytime.
Thank you.
Good man.
Super. Ed Felson says, kudos to the Orient fan. He articulates his points beautifully, so well done.
Cheers, Ed.
Shelley, have you got a question for Paul?
It was about that game at Wembley. Obviously you were 2-0 up, so what was your honest assessments on the game? Did you see it panning out that way, or did you just think that, it was pretty much done?
I'm a cynical Orient fan. I still am. It still hasn't been washed out of my brain by Richie yet. I'll always probably be a cynical fan. And people around me sort of rubbing their hands together, going, 2-0. And I remember distinctly saying, it's not over yet. We've still got another 45 minutes of football to go. Sadly, I spoke the truth. And it turned out as it turned out. I thought we were excellent in the first half. I think our heads dropped after Rev scores that goal. And the second goal that we conceded was calamitous. But fundamentally, it is what it is. We just didn't do well enough in the penalty shootout. And we had two players that you would have bet on scoring, unfortunately missed. And that's just the luck, isn't it? It's just pot luck at the end of the day when it gets that far down.
Yeah, definitely.
Is what it is.
Yeah,
100% a game of two halves. We won the first half, you won the second half, and then you won penalty shootout. C'est la vie, is what it is. But here we are in the same league.
Yeah, madness.
John, have you got a question for Paul?
Yeah, I do. Thanks again for popping on. I'll keep it short. We've kind of touched on it a little bit with Kelly and Lee. Actually, they've been in my brain. They've stolen my question. I have two questions, but I'll keep it to one. It was more regarding, because us Rotherham fans, you may know Steve Evans. We had him last season as our second time round, and we slated him no end. And he came out and he kind of nailed his colours to the mast a bit with players. And my question to you was, and I know you've slightly touched on it regarding your manager saying about the back three not being able to play cohesively together. Would you say, how would you respond to like that criticism? Would you say we need to just move past it, or would you say that's a fair assessment, but maybe it wasn't in the right sort of time frame, if that makes sense?
I think when you're speaking publicly about your team, you do have to have a certain amount of care and consideration, because at the end of the day, this is their job. So it's not just a sport. There's employment what you can say, what you can't say, how you should and shouldn't treat people. And Richie does put culture quite big at the top of the pile of things. So I'm pretty confident in saying that there isn't anything that he said publicly that he hadn't already said and worse in the dressing room after the game. Fundamentally, those 3 centre-backs that we deployed were all with us last season, and they were all with us the season before that, except Simpson, actually. Simpson joined us about 18 months ago. So they all know how we play. They all know how we should be playing. They've all been training together for months and months and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. So there is no reason why that we should look non-league as a standard of player. And at times this season, we switched off. We didn't track your runner. We didn't track the nombre, the scorer. And it's one of the easiest gifts that we could have possibly given. That we said in our podcast that we recorded last night, it was a gift that we never get given by any other club because they all stay switched on. Don't track the runners and they go in behind. Charlton last season rinsed and repeated a set-piece corner routine that we didn't learn from the first time, and they did it again the second time, scored, took all 3 points from us. We just don't learn, we just don't switch on, and we just switch off at the worst possible moments. So is he right for calling them out? It's nice to hear the refreshing honesty from a manager. I think you just have to be careful how you say it, because Omar, Dan and Jack are probably big enough and ugly enough and experienced enough to go, I'll take that on the chin. He's right. We didn't do well enough. We've lost the game. Less stoic, more fragile-minded players wouldn't be able to take that.
Thank you.
Super. Paul's getting a lot of love in the chat. So evening, everyone. Another cracking show as always. Love hearing when fans of other clubs come on. And tonight, Paul, you have been amazing, knowledgeable and humble. Massive respect.
Cheers, mate.
Steve, on us coming back from 2-0 down, I remember one of my first away games was Orient. We were 3-1 down with about 19 minutes to left and drew 3-3. Never write off the Millers. 10 minutes, it was 68. So, I mean, that season in particular, Rotherham did have a habit of never say die attitude. We were often 2 goals down or losing the game and come back to win it. It was just that season where we'd be 2-0 down and go and win the game 3-2. Or we'd be 3-1 down, win 4-3. They had that sort of spirit. So
just on that point though, just before you move on and going back to the 2014 playoff season, we were top 2 that 90% of that season. If you remember, it was Brentford and Wolves that went up, and look where they are now. Right, we were top 2. We had a bottom half budget and were top 2 all season. So to not make the championship, we overachieved by some significance. You had a bigger budget. Wolves had a bigger budget. Wolves had just come out of the championship and still on championship wages. So there's no way, realistically, if you're looking at things from a budgetary perspective, that Orient should have been anywhere near the playoffs, never mind the top 2.
Yeah.
I think Russell Slade did an incredible job that season.
He did.
Did he go on to Cardiff afterwards?
He did.
He did, didn't he? And I will say, if you weren't playing anybody other than us, I'd have been rooting for you, because no matter what happens, we all know what happened. Russell Slade and that Orient team. I mean, you had Dagnall, you had the boy went to Sheffield United,
Cox,
Rangers. What do you call him?
Lisby,
Lundstrom,
Mooney,
Lundstrom,
John Lundstrom, great player.
Yeah, John Lundstrom
from Everton.
And obviously you had
Moses Adebayo.
Adebayo, who scored a great goal.
He scored the goal. Yeah, him and Cox. And Dean Cox, On paper, individually, you probably wouldn't think much of that squad, but collectively, and the camaraderie that Russell built, the right character of players, outstanding. Unlike we've ever seen before, since, really.
Anyway, I can see Bez wanting to ask a question. So
Bez up next. Bez, what would you like to ask Paul?
I think. Well, I'm going to bring it back to today. This weekend. My first kind of point was, I think, and I get Wellens does this. He probably does this a lot, but I get he was just frustrated, and that's why he made the comments he did. I don't necessarily believe he thinks that his three centre halves can't play football, because why would you play that way if you can't play that way? And my question was, number one, what is Richie Wellens seen at the club? Like, from a fan's point of view, is he a legend? Is he, is he doing a good job? And also, what is Leyton Orient's aim as a football club? So are they? Do you think they've got it within themselves to get into the Championship, or is that a little bit unrealistic? What are your thoughts?
No, it's not. That is the kind of minimum hope and not expectation, but that's the drive that we're looking at with the new owner, with the new, we haven't got a blank check. We're still operating very much as best as we can within our means. There is a bigger picture to this. We're looking at a new stadium. We're looking at a new ground within the Leyton area. Or within the Waltham Forest area. We think it is going to be in Leyton. We don't know exactly where yet. It's not been announced, but the idea is that we're looking to push onwards and upwards and to not stay in League One for very long. We've got a very ambitious manager who doesn't want to be a League One manager for very long. So we need to make sure that we're matching his expectations and he matches ours. We don't want someone that's just happy to plod in League One either. We are looking to move on now. We went so close last season. We just, again, a moment in a game that we just really didn't turn up for, unfortunately, against Charlton at Wembley. And one moment changed the game, and Caesar's going home again with our tail between our legs. So Richie is viewed like he's got us. When he came and took us over, we were not doing very well at all. He came and then lifted us up, plays a beautiful style or has played a brilliant style of football that has been very pleasing on the eye. We've had some excellent, he's got a real good eye for talent and for finding players. We just sold one to Swansea called Ethan Galbraith for 1.6 million. We sold Jordan Brown to Blackpool for 400,000. We just got about nigh on £2 million in fees from players that we got for free. That's the kind of model that we are looking to deploy, is to find these gems, turn them around and sell them a couple of years down the line and adopt the kind of the old Peterborough model, what Barry Fry's been doing down there for decades now. So Richie, going back to your question, is seen and rated and respected extremely highly for what he's delivered, how he comes across, his tactical nous, the players that he's got in the club, how exciting he gets us out of our seats at times with the brand of football. And just to the point earlier, your point earlier about the three players, the same three centre-backs started last week and won 4-0 and kept a clean sheet. And even Omar Beckles was going up the pitch, Maldini style, driving us up the pitch. And this week he doesn't track the runner, and you score a goal from it. So, and that's what I was talking about earlier with the inconsistency. It's like, this guy's not new. These three are not new to us. They are not new to Richie. They are not new to the style of play or the tactic or the formation. It's a shoulder shrug. Like, what is going? Like, we're even saying, like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I think with League One football, you do get. That's why these players are playing League One football.
Exactly.
A lot of them, you do get a lot of inconsistent sort of performances at this level. Yeah. If there wasn't inconsistent, they'd be playing in high-end championship or the Premier
exactly
League.
Right.
But, I think sometimes you do have to accept the level that you're at. There will be times where players are inconsistent, and the ones that do get a bit of consistency end up getting sold for big money.
Yeah, exactly right. They don't hold on to them. Ethan Galbraith will be playing in the Premier League within the next 18 months to 2 years.
Yeah. You rate him that high?
No question. He's already been courted by Premier League clubs, and he's only had three months at Swansea. No question. He will move, and they will make big money from that.
Super. Has anybody else got any questions before we let Paul drift off into the evening night?
Yeah. Paul, you mentioned you go to the darts. I'm a massive darts fan. I play darts a lot. Do you play darts, Paul?
No. I go just because it's great. I don't really follow the darts that well. I mean, obviously I know Luke Litter and the guy with the mohawk, Peter, what's his name? But I don't really follow it. Raymond van Barneveld and a couple of the others, but that's about it for me, mate, to be honest with you. I go because it's just a great thing to do.
I play darts online, so anybody watching this, if you want to have a match against me online on Target Dart Counter, give us a follow.
Lovely.
Paul, you've been fantastic, mate. You've been fantastic, mate. I'll hand over back to Lee.
Yeah,
Cheers,
super, Paul. Thank you for coming. Obviously, we do appreciate you coming on. You've got a great sort of knowledge of Leyton Orient, so you've been well received by our viewers. So that's fantastic. We'll have to do it again, obviously, when we play you in the return fixture. And I promise you, if we lose, I will still have you on if you've won and let you glow.
Absolutely. Can I just say, Test Rigs UK, sort your spelling out, fella. It's Leyton, not Leigh. I'm not having that. I'm not gonna be abused like that.
He's not spelt Leyton Orient right.
No, not having that at all.
Super. Thank you for your time. Don't forget, you can find these guys on all the social media. Orient Outlook Podcast. They are a good listen, very knowledgeable, and Paul's a top man. Cheers,
thanks for having us on.
Paul.
Good luck for the rest of the season, guys. All the best to you. Be well.
You too, mate. Take care.
Bye now.
See you later, pal.
So, guys, back to Rotherham United, and I'm going to start with Bez because obviously Bez is always at the games. He's always got a good view on it. So I want a positive review of your game, Bez. Who was the standout player? I just want to mention Rotherham Bob Gaming, who says get the goat on the next show. So obviously Jordan Hugel is the goat, and a big shout out to Jordan Hugel actually, as he played against the doctor's advice, and I thought he ran his socks off and he gave 100%. So the haters that always seem to target Jordan, I think they need to have a look at themselves sometimes, because the guy is always fit. He always makes himself available. And I think he comes under some unfair criticism, in my view. Bez, take it away, mate. The stage is yours.
Yeah, so obviously we all do our post-match reviews. And I was sat there last night, and I didn't watch it all, but I did watch a little bit of another stream I will not talk about. And to be fair, they were really positive on there. I'll be honest, to me, the more I think about it, I felt it was a little bit of a fortunate win. And that's what I'd say. We didn't really create anything, if you think about it. Obviously, we scored the goal. It was a good goal. And to be fair, Leyton Orient have not really created anything apart from that one kind of scrapping last few minutes where corners come in. Well, in fact, they've had 4 or 5 corners in a row. Some of them weren't corners, by the way. They had 4 or 5 corners in a row, and then I don't know how they've missed, really. They've just smashed it, or 2 shots.
Stop you there, Bez. I just want to ask you this question. So, just say, for instance, you turn the score around and we lose that 1-0. Because it could quite easily have happened.
So
it's not as positive, is it?
No, it's one of, for me, the performance was, I'd almost say it's one of the arguably worst this season. Like, if you look at the stats, I've not looked at them myself, but I reckon we've not had more than 4 shots in total, and then the 1 on target. Now, when Rotherham played Wimbledon, if Rotherham could have got to the 60th minute mark of that game and they were still winning 1-0, I think they'd have gone on and won the game 1-0. I think the fact that Wimbledon came out and while they were on top, they got the goal, it gave them confidence, gave them belief that they won the game. I think the game on Saturday, it was very similar to Wimbledon away. It was very similar to Mansfield away. It's just that Leyton Orient was so off the game, it was unbelievable. And you can tell how off the game they were because Wellens was really, really frustrated in his interview. And that's why he kind of goes off on his 3 centre-halves. So, look, Rotherham won the game 1-0. Does Hanshaw deserve a bit of credit? Yeah, of course he does. It was the substitutions that won him the game, bringing on Nombe, for example. And also, as well, he could have took Hugel off. Hugel weren't very well. And I bet he were thinking about doing a straight swap, and he didn't do, to be fair to him. So I'm sure he deserves some credit, but from my point of view, it was a fortunate win, and we need to improve massively if you want to get anything next week at Barnsley, is how I would view it.
Shelley, what about you? Do you agree with Bez? Do you think we were fortunate to win?
I think if that had been a few weeks ago, we potentially might have crumbled. I don't think they were a very good team, but I think we saw the game out well. And there's definitely positives from where we've been. It wasn't a very good game, but I thought the goal was very, very easy in terms of they just knocked it about, crossed it in, and it was just a tap in. If it were that easy, you know, it was just so easy the goal, and
yeah. Do you think we were fortunate though, or because I don't think I wouldn't say we were fortunate because I didn't think Leyton Orient deserved anything from the game. I thought Leyton. I agree with Bez. There was really, really poor, but I think because you've got to take into consideration we had illness in the camp. I think what pleased me more than anything, I agree with Bez. I don't think the performance was any stretch brilliant, and I think if we play that way at Barnsley, we lose the game. But for me, what I was pleased was with the attitude and the spirit of the team, because they come together, which I don't think I've not been able to relate in the early games with this Rotherham United team. I felt like I can relate to them now. You've got players that are putting the body on the line for the badge, and coming on sort of half fit, and not fully. Chris says team spirit and attitude. Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to get at. I think that for me is the biggest take from the game.
So it out well, we did, and I think regarding the press as well, I don't think there's many teams at times can live with us. That press that they do. I mean, we can't obviously do it constantly, but when we do, there's not many that can live with us.
Yeah, Rich. I mean, the Leyton Orient fan mentioned our press as well. Yeah. So you know that's really good. John, what about yourself? What did you think? Did you like the press? Do you think we were fortunate? Kelly Forbob says thought Bushy had asked for a positive. Bez. Well, are you going to be a bit more positive, or do you agree with Bez? Do you think we were a bit fortunate on the day?
I feel no. Do you know what? Like hearing about the sickness bug, Hugo playing off when he was been up all night. I don't think we could have asked for a better performance. And I know it was lackluster, but we've been hit by an injury in the build-up with Hall. The defences had to, what's the word?
I think Hall was illness again.
Yeah, reshuffle. So we've had to in the warm-up, we've had to reshuffle our defence already. And again,
Hamshaw was in the team as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. So the half-time changes again. Matt Hamshaw, very positive. Nombe on. He made those changes in midfield. I think it makes a world of a difference. And he's making those changes now for me at the correct times. Whereas before, it was almost like, here, let's just see what happens. It was like a scattergun approach. I think we deserved the win. I don't recall a single shot Orient had on target. We've had a few chances, the Martha chance. We've had, obviously, the goal from Nombe. I feel like we dealt with their height quite well as well. They were a really tall team. I said this in my interview after. They were massive. I felt like we dealt with them really, really well. And I think hats off to the team playing under those circumstances. 1-0. Like you said, like Shelley says, if this was 3 weeks ago and we'd been on that losing streak and we'd be shouting the praises. And I think we have to still, it wasn't great, but it was a lot better than where we've been.
Yeah, I agree. Poppy Rose, Hugo is Bush's man crush. Yeah, I love Jordan Hugo. What can I say? He's the guy. Tom, what about yourself? Did you think we was fortunate, or do you think we completely deserved the win and we're going to get playoffs next?
I completely agree with certain points from Bez, John, and Shelley, to be honest with you. But what I will say is, it sometimes doesn't matter how you win, as long as you win. And we did win. And we kept a clean sheet against the top scorers in this league.
Yeah, that's a good point, Tom, because they had been scoring goals for fun. So to keep a clean sheet.
Yes.
Because I think Jules has been in for a bit of criticism, but I thought he was fantastic. Jack Jules was.
He was. And I will say this now. This might be the catalyst for an upturn in form. So, yes, I think we were potentially lucky to win 1-0. Yes, but we won 1-0. We did not concede. Football is about scoring more than the opposition. We scored more than the opposition, and we've flown out of that relegation zone. Let's now see what happens at Barnsley away. If we win at Barnsley away, or even get a point, my optimism will go through the roof. We beat the top scorers in the division with a sickness bug in the camp, which is pretty impressive, right? Make no mistake about it. So, yeah, I am starting to feel a bit more optimistic. And, I think we can fly up that league. And I think the playoffs is on.
Super. Kelly Forbogs, Matt Hamshaw has players on the bench that can make a difference now. There's 4 to come back in at the weekend as well. Bab Dude says put 6 past Barnsley. And Chris says yes, Tom. So I think you're right, Tom. I think we are in a position now where we can turn this season around. I think these next few games, as I've said, I don't get the online knocking of fans that were criticising the team and when we were playing poorly, because whichever way you look at it, the team was playing ridiculously bad. They deserved the criticism. That's football, yeah? They paid football players. They wasn't performing. We wasn't getting value for money. And we was third bottom. If we're going to come on a podcast and praise that, then there's something wrong, yeah? So as a fan, and as somebody that's doing a podcast, you have every right to criticise your team when they're not putting the performances in. And I don't put it all down to just players being injured. That's nonsense. Every team has injuries. I'm not gonna buy that every week as an excuse to lose football matches, because it's just not right. But yeah, I think when the team does well and performs better, and you see the commitment and the desire, and we win games, of course we're going to put. What do you think? We're not going to praise them? We want the football team to win. Like everybody should want your football team to win. I don't care who the manager is. I'm not Manager FC. I support Rotherham United. Yeah. So we need to get out of this. Oh, well, you backed Steve Evans, or you backed Matt Hamshaw, you backed Ronnie Moore. We need to back the club. We need to back the team, Rotherham United. We stand united as a team, and that's what we should do as a fan base. I just don't get all the fans wanting, even when we win a game, everybody wanting to fight amongst each other. Why can't we just be happy when we win? And then if we lose and play, because I'm praising the team now. I've praised them last week. I praised Matt Hamshaw for his substitutes. But if we go and get rolled over at Barnsley and we get his bellies tickled and we perform how we did last time we went to Barnsley, I'm not going to happy clap that. I'm sorry, but I'm not. I'm going to call every game as I see it, as a fan, fairly. And I think we all should do that. And everybody should be able to respect each other, that we've kind of got different views. And for me, it's just annoying when fans are, they're gonna moan, what you're gonna moan at now. Well, mate, anybody's gonna moan at a club that are third bottom. When even the guy on Leyton Orient saying they expect us, we're a bigger club, we've got a better budget, they expect us to be, they're fearful of coming here. So we shouldn't be getting rolled over by teams. In this league, we're Rotherham United, we should be a top 6 club. Not top 10, not top 15, top 6. No question about it. So for me, that's where I expect us. That's my standard. And I won't drop below that for anybody. That's just me. Anybody else can have sort of different opinions on that, but that's up to them. Chris Nichols says 15 new players needed time to gel. Yeah, we did need time to gel. I agree with that. However, is that purely down to 15 players should have been signed a little bit earlier and be taken on a pre-season tour? So is that bad planning by the manager, or or not. So you can't just have it both ways. Yeah, players do have to gel, but how many players did Leyton Orient sign? He's just told you how many they signed. Very similar to us, and they've had a better start. So it's not always a down. That's about you adapting in the pre-season. Important, as we did say at the time. Mighty Miller, certain people are happier for Amshaw than they are the club. Early season criticism was truly justified, fully justified. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yes, Bushy agreed, late signings. Yeah, and that's what I think the problem was. And it's not me just having a go at Matt Amshaw. I think it's the club as well. They've done it. It's not just Matt Amshaw that signs the players. It's a collective, Rob Scott. And I think we were late off the ball. And I think all the players should be going on a pre-season. Bez, what do you think?
Well, I was just going to say, just quickly, I've just checked the stats just to see if the point I'm making were right. How many shots do you think Rotherham had during the game? And that's for anyone on the podcast. Quickly, shout a number out.
Four.
Four is correct. Four. How many on target?
One.
Two.
No, two. Yeah. How many shots did Leyton Orient have?
It was similar. I think they had more because they had a couple at the end, didn't they?
14.
Wow.
14 shots and 3 on target. Their XG, I know it's a bit of not a great stat, but their XG is 1.3. So if you're like a neutral who's not watched that game, you're saying Rotherham's been really lucky there to get the points. I would suggest anyway.
Yeah, I agreed, Bez. Agreed. I do agree with that, Paul. I do.
Shelley, what do you think, mate? Do you think, obviously, did the stats that Bez just said shock you that they had so many shots?
Not really, to be honest. It was a typical game of two halves again. I mean, I'll be honest, when we set off the first half, it was a bit like, God, have we gone back to how we were? But no, it weren't a very good game, but I guess you could argue the best team won. We took his chance. On another day, it could quite easily go, the other way. I guess when a team has 14 chances on goal, they're probably thinking this isn't our day. Whereas we had obviously 4 and took them, which makes a change.
Yeah, true. John, what about you? What do you think?
I mean, it's nothing really to add. I think starts are starts. At the end of the day, like Thomas said, 3 points is all we come away with, and we've come away with a big win. And I forgot to add, it was you mentioned it briefly, Lee. It was the first time I felt in pretty much this season where there was blocks going, bodies against the wall. Like there was a lot of people defending that box towards the end.
Yeah, that's great.
That for me was great.
Yeah, I love that as well. I just thought they were together. And I know little things, they don't mean much, but I seen when they're all huddled together, they sent together again like we used to be. And I feel like I can relate with this team again. That's the best. I don't think we're playing great. I'm not convinced that we couldn't slip back into losing games because the games we're winning, they're very tight. Other than, I think, the Northampton game, I think that were kind of, we did roll them over second half. But this game it could have gone either way. And I think I agree with Bez that we can't get too carried away. When we haven't turned into prime Real Madrid. We've sort of beat Leyton Orient. We've put his bodies on the line. But the test is going to come as sort of when the kahunas need to come out, they need to come out at Barnsley and they need to not let us down at Barnsley because I don't want to go there and lose again. Because I think if we go there and win, I think that will be a catalyst for us to start really challenging. And like say, the Leyton Orient fan said they was down near the bottom and ended up getting the playoffs. The league is so poor, we can do that. I mean, Luton won at Mansfield won at Luton. We've got Stevenage, who were near the top, losing to Lincoln, and all kinds of stuff can happen. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day in this league.
What do you think's changed, though?
What's that, sorry?
What do you think's changed?
Look,
for me, I think the big difference is you've got somebody who can put the ball in the back of the net that's come back from injury. I think he makes a huge difference, Sam Nombe. Regardless of what anybody says, Sam Nombe is probably one of the best strikers in League One for me. I can't think of too many strikers who I'd pick ahead of Sam Nombe in League One. I just wouldn't. I think he's a very, and I think we rely on Sam Nombe more than most, because without Sam Nombe, we've got nobody else that can do that Sam Nombe role. Sheriff is a bit raw, a bit young. He's not as aggressive. He ain't got that sort of presence that Sam Nombe offers you. And I think he has made a big difference coming back. And I think it's boosted the players knowing he's there. But I think Chris Nichols said it. I think it takes time for them players to gel. And I think some of them now are starting to gel. And what you're noticing is he's kind of picking the same sort of play, like team week in, week out now. So you're getting a base of the team that know each other's game. So I think, and like you say, I think the togetherness, something's obviously happened where they've had a meeting, they've got together and they've thought, right, we're gonna stick together as a team and we're gonna fight for. I think, honestly, I spoke to you, Shelley, earlier. I think obviously the players kind of realised they were getting Matt Amshaw the sack, and I think they've stood up for him. And I don't think they want him to get the sack. I think he has got the dressing room, and I think winning breeds confidence as well. So once they got that win, when they come back from behind and won that after the away game, they got the monkey off the back with the away game. Then they got the easier game in the cup, which we were losing, but then we come back. I think it's just given them a bit of confidence and a belief, and I think the fans have sort of been more positive, because there was a lot sort of a negative. It were you were either Matt Amshaw in or you was Matt Amshaw out, and everybody was against each other. Where now I think they're together. Chris puts a great point, because I agree with him actually. So Chris says our midfield is the best in the league, and I would absolutely agree with that. Tell me who in this league is better than Benson, Dan Gore? I mean, them two alone are probably the best two midfielders in League One. If you've got them two and they're fully fit, there's a problem. And then you add sort of Sean McWilliams. I think he's underrated. I think he really does get stuck in, Sean Williams. So McWilliams, yeah. So I think we've got a really strong midfield.
Kean Spence as well. Yeah.
Arthur Bushbed, do Rotherham still play football? I don't know. Does Doncaster still have caravans? Probably. Yeah. Oh, Chris Nichols, Kean Spence, who was my man of the match as well. So I think Kean Spence was man of the match for me. Yeah. So I'm going to go round everybody. Bez, who was your man of the match?
I would have probably given it Baptiste. I thought, just on John's point, actually, the least positive for me from the result was the fact that you had player after player after player throwing the bodies in the way. And I agree with you, Lee. I think Jules was one of them, but I thought Baptiste was the best out of the three. So I'm going with Baptiste. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So would he be your man of the match, Bez?
Yeah, Baptiste is my man of the match. Yeah, I think I'd love to give Hugo, to be fair, because Benjamin and Hugo were ill, and he weren't just working hard up front; he were tracking back. And I remember he actually gave a couple of free kicks away, like
I thought he was nearly going to get a second yellow card. You know when
yeah, but
because he'd been booked, hadn't he? And I thought, he's going to get sent off. Yeah,
but I don't want to give it Hugo because you can't just get man at match just for working a bit hard. So yeah, I'm going to give it Baptiste because he was at the end of the game. There was Baptiste, I think Jules, and one other who made 3 massive blocks. So it has to be between them. So I'm going for Baptiste.
We've got a Leeds fan on here, claims they're the best team in Yorkshire. Best thing about Rotherham is you go past it on the motorway. Mate, I won't come on a football podcast giving banter when you support Leeds who've just got spunked by Burnley. I mean, come on, you're getting relegated, so we might even play you next season. So pipe down, sunshine. So John, what about yourself, mate?
Yeah, I mean, you can give it a couple of people, and it's a controversial one for me, and I'll take the stick for this because it isn't Spence and I agree with Dave. Hugo was basically everywhere, wasn't he? But my man of the match was Martha, and I tell you why. He was like everywhere, and on occasions I saw him against those big centre backs, and I thought, oh yeah, he's going to get knocked off ball. But actually, he did really well. He pressed. He was the only one at times before Nombe pressing them, running everywhere, and I think that for me goes a far lot longer. Get my word, sorry, better than a goal or assist. I think it's the work off the ball, and for me, Martha got it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree with Martha. I actually thought Martha held on to the ball far too much.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I thought he was trying to do too much. He got knocked about a little bit, but I mean, he's young and he's raw, so he's not the finisher. I do like Martha. I think he's going to be a fantastic player, but I think his inexperience at times, he held on to the ball too long. And I actually sent a message to Kev because he was going on about Hugo should have scored when he chipped the keeper. And I said, the guy's not even fully fit. But people are quick to moan at Hugo doing that, but they're happy that Martha's hanging on to the ball when he could just do an easy pass, like 3-yard pass that's clearly on, and we could have a shot on goal because he was in the area, but he tried to take the player on after he'd already took him on again and then ended up losing it. Bushes, Leeds third team. Leeds aren't my third team. I don't know where this is coming from. Lucky Sheffield Wednesday are worse than you. Yeah, they're probably still a bigger club than Leeds, though. Just saying. All of them this week, Chris Nichols says. What about you, Tom? Who do you think was the man of match? All of them.
Right. Honourable mention, Jordan Hugill. Obviously, he's not my man of the match, but I'll tell you what. Did I see a picture that Rotherham United put on of him? He looked ill afterwards.
Yeah, I think he was. Somebody said he was actually sick in the car park.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
I don't know how true it was, but apparently, he's been sick in the car park, and he had actually got his suit on or something, and he was saying that he'd been told not to play, but he'd gone back and said that he actually wants to play.
Well, do you know what? Fair play to the lad as well. And do you know what? He gets a lot of disrespect off certain people in our Rotherham United community. And do you know what? Fair play. Jordan, you're an immense, mate. Well done, pal. Please come on our pod. Would love to have a chat with you. However, I am going to give the man of the match to somebody who does often get slated. It's been slated by myself. I'm going to give it to Cam Dawson.
Ah, yeah. The Leyton Orient fan mentioned Cam Dawson. He thought he was one of our better players.
I know that, look, end of the day, his job is to keep balls out of the back of the net. And he did. Look, he did. In that late siege that they had, yes, it was probably easy. It would have been easier not to save it, as it were. But no, I'm going with Cam Dawson. Fair play, Cam. Good lad. Clean sheet. But I could have given it to a lot. I think that back line on Saturday were immense, and the work rate up top was immense. Sam Nombe, just his energy and running the tram lines, as it Breckin calls it. I just thought, what fair play. So I'm going to go Cam Dawson. Cam for me.
Mighty Miller. Hugill has been one of our best players over the course of the season so far. Only one who's been available every week and runs his socks off. Shelley, what about you, mate? Who was your man of the match? You need to put your...
Can you hear me now? Sorry. Probably Zach Jules for me. Like Bez said, Baptiste and Jules both played very well. I think Spence definitely made a difference in midfield. They were all over the place. And I tell you somebody I've been impressed with for the last few weeks as well, Joe Rafferty. With his distribution and he's had a few assists for goals. But yeah, if I had to pick anybody, it'd probably be Zach Jules. I think he's probably had one of his better games Saturday.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think Zach Jules was quality. My man of the match, obviously, I picked Kean Spence. I think his energy in midfield is what we've been lacking for a while. I think he just complements Benson, and I think he complements Gore and Sean McWilliams. Yeah, so I would have picked Kean Spence. I've been really impressed. I was impressed with him pre-season, and then he got injured. But I think now he starts getting fit. I think he's going to be a real star for us this season.
What do you think to Joe Powell on the left? Do you think it worked?
I think it worked away at Northampton. I don't think it worked as well against a better team, which I did fear. But I think if you don't play Joe Powell on the left, you have to drop him because he don't fit in anywhere else. I don't think he's better than the midfielders that we've currently got in them positions. So you either have to drop him, which I don't think Hampshire wants to do because I think he really does rate Powell. And I think you persist with him. I would still persist with him on the left because I think he's got the delivery, if he has a good game, to cause problems. But against the better teams, he could get exposed down that left. That's the issue for me.
Yeah, I think because we against Northampton in that second half, we were almost constantly on the attack. It suited Powell. So obviously he's an attacking player. Against Leyton Orient, we didn't really do a lot of attacking, as obviously you've kind of mentioned with the stats, and he's not a defender. So, yeah, I felt he struggled a little bit. I mean, it's amazing that we had 5 midfielders on from the start and 2 were playing at wing-back, and we still won the game. So I think that's a good sign.
Yeah. Yeah. So before we wrap up, I'm going to go on to our next game. We got Barnsley away. So I want to go through your predictions and what your thoughts are regarding the Barnsley game. Because we all remember we've played them in the cup this season. We had a fantastic first half and we died the second half. And then last season was probably one of the worst performances I've seen us play in a Yorkshire derby, if I'm totally honest. I thought we was weak and very lackluster, and I actually was at Oakwell for that game, so I was very disappointed with our attitude and performance that day. Start with you, Bez, because you're closest to me. What's your sort of prediction for Barnsley, and what are your thoughts on how we can win the game?
I think it's a very difficult game to predict. Rotherham's...
They're not great. Great.
Yeah, so first of all, Rotherham's record against Barnsley is not poor. It's absolutely horrendous. Rotherham not beat Barnsley in my lifetime of 40 years. However, Barnsley's form at the minute is poor as well. And I said at the start of the season, it always makes you laugh when people say they expect Barnsley to do well and Rotherham not to, because I think they're exactly the same size club. I think they're pretty much at the same level. And I still think they'll both finish in the same place at the end of the season.
I think we're better than Barnsley.
Okay, fair enough. Unfortunately, because I don't think we played that well on Saturday, we never beat Barnsley. I think it's going to continue, and I think we'll lose 2-1, really.
2-1.
Mm-hmm.
John, what about you? Do you think we'll lose the game?
No.
No?
I'm going to go with a positive. We're on a good little run. I know it's 2. The cup game we could put to bed. I think we're going to go and have a nice little... we're going to have a win at Barnsley away, cheer up the fans even more. And I think we touched on it briefly last week. The selection headache Matt Hampshire has now, because we've got a lot of players coming back, is a really good one. And I think if he gets it right Saturday, it could, as you say, we can really push on. I think we'll win 2-0.
2-0. Who's scoring for you?
I believe it'll be Hugo and Nombe, and they'll start together. I think they'll both start.
Fair play. Tom, what about yourself?
Well, this is getting a bit itchy, and I did state that when we win 2 away games on the bounce, I would shave said beard. look, in a local derby, a South Yorkshire derby, any derby, the form book goes out the window. We've seen that yesterday, Bushy, when United luckily beat Liverpool.
Luckily.
with a South Yorkshire lad scoring the winner. But no, you were good. United were good for that. So the form book goes out the window. Yes, we're away. We're at Barnsley. Famously, we never do anything away at Barnsley. Do you know what, though? I'm confident that we'll get a draw.
A draw?
I think it's going to be a 1-1. 1-1. I imagine we'll score first and they'll score late.
Who's scoring for us?
Who's scoring for us? I'm going to go Reece James. And by the way, I just want to say about Reece James, actually. I was listening to him on co-commentary watching that game. And he's not a bad little pundit, Reece James. And he was well up for us winning. He was celebrating everything. So I'm going to go Reece James. Sod it. It's out there, but let's do it.
Yeah, good man. Shelley?
I mean, the last Yorkshire derby we had this season were just embarrassing. It can't get any worse than that. That was shocking. The last one away. I just hope that they just sort of get at him and they've got a bit of fight about them and a bit of sort of passion. As you say, it's a local derby, and records are there to be broken. As Bez says, I've not seen Rotherham win there. There's no reason why we can't turn that round. So yeah, let's be positive and let's have a 1-0 win.
Who's going to get your goal, Shelley?
Nombe.
Jonathan Shield says 2-1 Millers, Nombe and McWilliams. Chris Nichols says 2-2. So, yeah, for me, I'm going to go positive. I'm going to say we're going to win 1-0 again. And this time, I think the goal scorer will be Benson against his former club with a free kick. So Houdini is going to be
get on.
He's going to be back in town. We're going to beat Barnsley 1-0. Yeah, Josh Benson's going to score the free kick, and then they're going to build me that statue at New York because I'm just predicting everything, predicting the future.
Lee,
I'll predict your lottery numbers.
If Rotherham's results were exactly your predictions, would we have be on maximum points? Have you predicted a Rotherham win every week?
No,
right,
not every week. Nearly. I never want to back against my team, but I honestly do believe we like Paul says. I think we've got probably one of the best midfield in the league. Yeah. I also think when we've got the two strikers fit in Jordan Hugill and Sam Nombe, we've got the best front two in the league as well. Partnership, yeah? So, and I also think the defence isn't as bad as it started this season. I think we have got good defenders. I don't get all the hate for Zach Jules because I think he's not that bad. I think Rafferty's won the league at this level. So when Rafferty's fit as well, I think he can do it. Reece James has been promoted from this league. Rafferty's won the league. Dawson's been promoted from the league. So all of that spine of that team, of that back line, have all won promotion from this league. So actually, why are we not challenging? So for me, I think we'll go to Barnsley, we'll win, it'll push us up the table. And I think, and I honestly wouldn't have thought it months back. I laughed at Adam, in fairness, and I'm going to apologise to Adam because I think actually he's right. We can end up getting the playoffs because the league is poor, and if this team gels, and I'm sure seems to be learning from his mistakes because, like Bez said earlier, he is starting to make substitutes now that are impacting. Whereas before he wasn't. He weren't making the subs. He was making the wrong decision. After half time, we were coming out poorer. But now we're actually coming from behind in games, which we wasn't at the beginning of the season. And we're actually winning games that I think at the start of the season, we wouldn't have had that desire, putting the body on the line, everybody chucking in, jumping in front of shots. we wouldn't have had that, and we'd have probably lost that game 1-0. So for me, I'm going to say we're going to finish in the playoffs.
Agreed.
I've always said
that.
Kelly Forbob says it's 33-1 to finish top 6. So I don't gamble anymore, but if you want to put some money on, I would say that would be
printing money.
Yeah, it would be, because I think we will. I think we will get there. January window will be interesting. Yeah, and a big thing will be is if we can keep hold of Sam Nombe, because if we sell Sam Nombe in January, that could be a problem. The Baldy Waffler says 3-1 Millers, Nombe hat trick.
The Baldy Waffler.
That's
Wolfer,
the name.
The Baldy Wolfer.
Oh, Waffler. Is it Wolfer?
Wolfer.
We're getting to that age, Tom, where I can only see part of it. So he said Waffler. Yeah, he says 3-1 Sam Nombe hat trick. So
go on, the Baldy Wolfer.
That's it. We can't go wrong with that. So thank you again for everybody tuning in. Tomorrow at 10, I think it's at 8 o'clock. Sorry, it's 8 o'clock. Our premiere of Meet the Miller, where I have sat down with Richard Shellswood, and he's give his best 11, his favourite Rotherham moments.
Marvin Bryant.
There's another strange right back choice. It's own goal. I think I'm just gonna, rather than right back for Rotherham United, I'm gonna pick the favourite player who scored own goals for Rotherham. Because we've had Marvin Bryant, and we've got another guy that scored an own goal. See if you can guess it. Pop it in the. It's on Premiere to go live at 10. So if you click on there, go into the comments, put who you think Richard Shellswood's best ever right back for Rotherham United is, and I guarantee you will not guess it. I don't think you will anyway, but we'll see. Put it this way, Tom shocked me with Marvin Bryant, and this was even a bigger shock than Marvin Bryant. Chris Nichols says Jerry Forrest.
I'm not that old.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, my dad would probably pick Jerry Forrest. In fairness, he was a fantastic player, but I didn't.
I think I know who it is. I think you talk. I'm not going to say it, but you're talking about the guy. So what you're saying, Lee, the game against Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Oh,
that's Marvin Bryant.
Yeah.
That's Marvin.
Bez is a historian.
I'll say no else. Yeah.
That's Marvin Bryant, Bez.
Bez is that man.
Yeah.
But yeah, if Bez hasn't given you a big enough clue.
So it's Marvin Bryant then. It is Marvin Bryant.
It's not Marvin Bryant now.
No, it's not Marvin Bryant.
But Marvin Bryant scored that own goal against Wolves.
Tom, I think you made a mistake there, mate.
No, I didn't score it against Wolves.
Yeah.
This other guy did.
Marvin Bryant definitely scored his own goal against Wolves. Right, anyway.
Tom, do you want to bet? I'll bet you some money.
Well, Marvin Bryant
Kelly Forbob says Tav. No, it's not Tav.
If loan players were included, it obviously would be Tabs, but no, I've tried to keep it to Rotherham players. One thing I did do, though, and you can get carried away a little bit, is I did do a loan 11. I also did a donkey 11 as well. That was quite interesting. 11 first players and 11 loan players as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll obviously, once we've gone through, and like I said, any fan watching, and if they want to appear and do the favourite ever Rotherham United team, the best manager, the best team, how they started supporting Rotherham, what supporting Rotherham means to them, we're happy to send us a DM. I'm happy to do it. Basically, we do it before it gets streamed, and then obviously we put it out there after. But yeah, it's really good. Brings back some memories. I remember getting hit on the back of the head on the Cop at Hillsborough after my chat with Shelley. Fantastic. Chris Nichols says Barnsley. Andy Barnsley. No, it's not him. No, it's not him.
You'll have to watch and wait and see.
Yeah. It'll premiere at 8 o'clock tomorrow. So if you all he says, tell him to stop saying your name wrong, Shelley.
I know. I'm telling him that many times. I give in.
What's that?
You keep saying Shell's Wood, and I'll tell you what it is, but you just
Yeah. I'm dyslexic. Yeah.
Just a quick one, Lee. I don't know if you saw in the comments from Kelly Bob about Wednesday, because I know that's an important show coming up as well.
Oh yeah. So Wednesday, this is going to be sort of kind of an emotional thing for me because it brings back some bad sort of places I've been. But we are going to do a mental health show on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. So yeah, that is going to be quite an emotional one. I will go through sort of my experiences, and obviously if you want to put any questions to us regarding that in the chat, more than welcome to. But it's called Men's Zone. It's basically about men's mental health, and it's just sort of discussing sort of dark moments, really. What I've experienced myself through addiction with gambling. I mean, Shelley knew how bad I was when I was going through that. I mean, at the time, I think the lads thought it was a laugh or whatever. You're just young. You don't really know what's going on with it really until it kind of hits you and affects you. So, yeah, it's going to be a show. I'll be honest with you. I'm quite nervous about doing it because I've never really told people the lies that was made up about me on the internet, all kinds of stuff that I went through, which nearly drove me to sort of take my life. That's just being brutally honest. But if it helps people, that's why I wanted to sort of share it. People have asked me before to do it. I've never really had the sort of confidence to do it because I may break down. So the people that don't like me, that troll me, it'll probably be a show you maybe enjoy if you see me upset or whatever. So yeah, tune in for that if you would like to see me get upset. I put that up too quick, but Jonathan Sheard's got the fullback. Yeah.
We can all guess now.
Yeah. You don't understand mental health until you've lived with it, Bushy. Yeah, I mean, yeah, unfortunately I have. And I don't think I mean, people will say they're sort of cured, but you never, once you've had mental health, it never really leaves you fully. There's always days where, it comes back. So it's just about living with mental health. I think sometimes you have to cope and live with it and enjoy the best life you possibly can. Google me in Perth. So Chris Nichols. Yeah, Chris, if you want to direct messages, we're happy to have you on that show as well, because like I say, I'm not a professional. I can only go on what I've experienced and how I got through it with gambling, with my mental health, with access to seeing my children and all that type of stuff. It was really deep. So I'm not a professional, but I'm going to tell my story. But if you're happy to come on or what, yeah, we're more than happy to have a professional on that can actually help young lads really, and that are, especially in this day and age with what's going on in the world. I think it is important we sometimes accept that it's all right to be not all right.
Yeah.
So guys, thank you again for watching. Please watch Shelley tomorrow. It's a really good show. I really enjoyed doing it with me. Took me down memory lane, same as when I did it with Tom. I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to be enjoying doing Bez's and John's as well. So it is really good. And anybody that wants to do it, I'm more than happy to have you on. It's basically I just send you a code, we log in, we have a chat, I record it, and then we post it out, and gives a chance for fans to get to know how people started supporting Rotherham and what it means to them to be part of this amazing football club. So thank you again for watching. Thank you for everybody in the chat. Obviously, we wouldn't be here without you guys. We kind of set it up for the fans, and sometimes people don't like what we have to say, but what I can say, with all of these guys that I've got on the panel, they are great guys. They love Rotherham United. They bleed Rotherham United. They want Rotherham United to do well. So if you ever aim any stick at anybody on the social media, just aim it at me, because these guys don't deserve to be sort of abused online by trolls. So thank you again for watching, and we will see you at 8 o'clock for Shelley's review tomorrow. Cheers, guys. And Barnsley. Get ready, Barnsley. We're coming for you.